Hello, hello. Bonjour, Connect Hearing community. Super happy to be back here. It's been quite some time. I think it's been, I don't know, 2 months that I was here last time. So I'm excited to be here and show you and help you to navigate through the newly improved MyPhonak app 6.0. Okay. So while we're waiting everybody to join us, hope you're having a really good summer. Here in Vancouver, BC, thankfully our spring was quite wet. What we usually complain about it, but then our summer has been amazing. We haven't had extreme fires around the area, so no smoky air for quite some time. So if you are just first time joining me, my name is Christiane Basilio. I am an audiologist and I have a doctorate degree in audiology and have been working in the field since 2002 and have been working in Canada for Connect Hearing for 15 years. So really appreciate your support for all the videos. And I hope this video is here to help you with the MyPhonak app as there is a new version that is the 6.0. And there is some different ways to navigate through the app, some new features and some new bugs that they have fixed compared to our app from before. Okay, I do see a lot of people joining me there. I don't see the names for some reason on my setup today, but it's because I want to make sure you have closed caption. But I do see a lot of people there, some likes there. Thank you. So let's jump in. What I would like first to go through is the pairing part first. You might already have that done, or you have already, your hearing professional have already paired your hearing aid to the computer, to the app. But I do want to see, oh, I see someone there. Hi, Janet. Oh, yes, I see the names. Awesome. So, so you need to put some comments so I can see your name there, actually. So let me show you the pairing first. You might already have that, but I really would like to show you this part first, okay? And then after we'll go through the app. And I have selected a lot of troubleshooting for Bluetooth and phone connection. I was surprised there was like over about 20 troubleshooting. So I'm pretty sure you will learn from this video today. And but if I miss something, don't hesitate to add from some comments. Oh, I see someone from Port Moody. Hi, Verla. I live in Port Moody. Nice seeing you here. So let's start. I have my, I will switch my camera for a second, and then we'll show you the pairing with my iPad. And I'll switch back and forth the camera a few times, but hopefully because you have closed caption, you will be able to hear me well, okay? So let me share my, 1 second. I'm just gonna switch my camera. Let's put it on the back camera. There we go. All right. So I have here the charger, okay? And just to remind you, let me put a bit behind there. Just to remind you, when we are gonna put a hearing aid, a rechargeable hearing aid into a pairing mode, there's a couple of different ways that I'll show you. But if you have a hearing aid that has batteries, all you need to do is to open and close your battery door, okay? So here is opening the battery, I mean the box. And I'm just gonna remove the hearing aid from the box, okay? And you see there's a light there. The first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go into the settings of your tablet or cell phone, and we are right on the Bluetooth here. You see it shows right hearing aid. I'm just gonna click on it, and it connects, okay? So you might wonder now, Chris, why you're just pairing one of the hearing aids? So when we are gonna use the hearing aids with your cell phones, just for connection, for talking on the phone or to stream sound, all you need to do is this Bluetooth, just one of the hearing aids, and usually is the right side. That's how we set up on our software, okay? for the hearing care professionals. But if for some reason you have a better hearing on your left side, they might have set it up for the left side only, okay? But you should see just one hearing aid connected Bluetooth there. So now what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna put in my charging case there for a moment again, because what we need to do is we need to download your MyPhonak app 6.0, okay? On the Apple Store, you go here and you're just gonna type MyPhonak app and you search and you will see that's where it is. I have downloaded before, so for me, it's just gonna show open the app, all right? So now we have the app open and we're gonna follow the instructions from the app. This is the pair device. I'm going to get my 2 hearing aids here. So this time we wanna pair to both hearing aids, okay? Pair device. Let's get started. And you see that shows both options, non-rechargeable and rechargeable. All you want to do is to remove your hearing aids that are rechargeable from the charging case. So it's going to be into a pairing mode for 3 minutes. Or you see the long button on the top here. If I touch the bottom part and I hold for 3 seconds, it will turn it off. And if I hold for 3 seconds again, it will turn back on. And then once it's on a pairing mode as well, okay? You do not select which type of hearing aid. All you need to do is to click continue. So now we're gonna let my app to find the hearing aid, and let's hope it's gonna find. Here, what we have, it found the left side and now found the right side. So now I'm going to put click, and I'm just gonna keep following these steps. Pair, and pair. Okay, there we go. So when the 2 hearing aids are paired, you see that tells you here, would you like to enable hearing aid controls for calls or streaming? Because if we want to do this, that is the same first step that I showed you, the Bluetooth pairing, okay? If you only want to use the app as a remote control, you don't need to do that very first step that I showed you. You can just pair to the app, all right? So I'm gonna continue because I already did that step. And it's gonna always show you this safety information. You can just read and just say, okay. And I'm gonna put it to not show again, okay? If not, we're gonna be getting that message all the time. So basically now my hearing aid is connected to my app, okay? So what we're gonna do now to navigate, and I'll show you everything you can do on this app. And it looks different if you have the app before. You have a bit more control here, and some of the bugs that was not working before is working much better now. So I will make a comment of all of them, okay? So basically on this home screen, what we see is it's like a remote control for your hearing aid, all right? You see that it's on the automatic setting, and it has here on the bottom all the sessions from the app. So basically on the home setting is your remote control. Health is an app that I will talk about it. That's a really cool new feature on this app. Then we have devices, then we have a few things here to do as well that I'll show you in a moment. Then you have support, that is where you do remote support that we'll go through in a moment, and profile, okay? So let's stick with the home setting for a second here. So what you can do on this screen is your remote control, as I mentioned. Basically, first part, you're just the volume control. You can separate the 2 right or left, and it shows you even the percentage of my battery here as well, okay? Basically, normally we are going to keep them adjusting together, okay? Because when your hearing professional adjusted your hearing aids, we kept a good balance between the right and left. So you should not need to separate the right and left. But In some cases, maybe you like to drive your car with your window open and you are getting too much wind from the left side, for example. You could just lower the left side, okay? And then when you go to 0, this is your default. That's the volume that is recommended from your hearing care professional, okay? In case, let's say you have been wearing the hearing aids for a week now and you were always turning them down a little bit, we can always change that to become your default. And that has to be done in the office or through a remote support, okay? So let me know in the comments if I'm going too fast, okay? So basically here we have the volume control. Then what else we have on the top here? This is like a preset programs that already comes ready on your hearing aids. So we have a setting that is for restaurant, we have a setting that is for music, we have a setting for TV, and I have created a program here as well that I will show you how to do that, okay? So let's say you always go to a certain type of restaurant, and when you are in that restaurant, you find the sounds way too noisy around you, okay? What can you do for that? We can go on Adjust Program, and on Adjust Program, that's where you have way more fine tunings that you can do, okay? It's important to say that this is an option, okay? I don't want you to become overwhelmed if it's too many things you can adjust, because you might don't need all these adjustments, all right? But this is options that you have there to play with. So when you open the restaurant setting, we can, again, there is some pre-adjustment settings. So let's say in that restaurant, you feel that is just too noisy, like it's not comfortable. You can click on Comfort. Once you click on Comfort, there are a couple of features here that will automatically change, and I will tell you in a moment, okay? So I think my first suggestion is, if you need to do any adjustment on the hearing aids, I would first try this pre-settings first before you try to start fine-tuning yourself, because it can get very confusing sometimes and you might not achieve what you're looking for, okay? So we get clarity, and it will give you more clarity for speech, for example, okay? On these features here, the first thing I would do is not to change the volume first, okay? Because usually when we want to make fine tunings on a hearing aid, it's always the two best features on this screen is noise reduction and speech focus, okay? Because usually when we are trying to adjust the volume of the hearing aid, it's usually because of the noise around us, right? And we might be missing speech. So when we adjust noise reduction, it does exactly what it says here. It just reduces the background sounds. That does not mean that you're gonna hear speech louder. If you want to focus on speech, we're gonna focus here, speech focus. So going to the right will make the hearing aid very narrow. So it's kind of you're hearing if someone is sitting in front of you on a table, okay? But if you wanna hear more, kind of a little more on your sides as well, then you wanna keep it a little more in the middle. The wider it goes, the more you hear around you, okay? So it's not focusing on speech so much, okay? So this is a really, really nice feature to try when you're in a restaurant or in a family gathering. That might help you a lot. The other feature that we see here is the dynamic. So this feature means it changes the compression of the hearing aid. So basically, if you go to the left, it will decrease only the loud sounds, but will not make any changes on soft sounds. But if you want to increase soft sounds, then you go to the right, okay? So let's say I am in that restaurant often, and I always find it hard to hear people in that environment, for example. I will maybe keep it on clarity. I feel the volume was great, but the noise, I needed a little more noise reduction, and I needed to really focus on the speech. What I can do here is, If you are only going to use this feature, this program, when you are in that restaurant, you can just update. So then your main restaurant setting is going to always be with this adjustments. Or if you only want this setting, let's say at Tim Hortons, I'm going to click a Save New, and I'm going to create a program. Oh, connection error. Okay, just need to let it connect again. Oh, there we go. I was for too long with the window open. So there we go. I'm going to go. Make sure the keyboard sounds are enabled. Oh, the active program has changed. If you have not adjusted your hearing aid manually, please make sure. Okay. Anyways, I'm not going to get stuck here today. Let's see, save as new. There we go. It's not allowing me to do this right now because I think I turned it off something for Bluetooth that I'll show you later. But I already created one here. So basically all you need to do is adjust program, save as new, and then you can add the new program and then save it. Okay. I already did one here. I'm going to show you. And I had to create it, for example, TV, daughter's home. So one of the bugs that has been fixed from the other app version is before, when I close my app, and I'm just gonna switch the camera here for a second. Before, when I close the app, your hearing aid would not stay on that program that you wanted to stay. But now that's happening, okay? So if you choose a program that you wanna be at during that time, let's say on a restaurant, you can select, adjust what you want, close the app, put your phone away, and then your hearing aid will gonna remain on that setting, okay? So that was a really good change, okay? Are we doing all right? I have lots to share today, so sorry. There we go. Okay, so let me just share my camera again one more time, and then I'll show you one more thing here. So we're gonna go back to the app and my hearing aids, and that's exactly what happens, okay? So they take a few seconds sometimes to connect, but they're back on. And as you can see, we're back on the same program, okay? So I'm not gonna spend too much more time here, but that's exactly what you can do. When you're doing on a TV, if you're watching TV, it's a great feature, again, going into the speech focus. So if you're watching TV with a group of people and you wanna have a communication with them while you're watching something, you wanna keep the speech focus a little wider. But if you don't want to talk to them, you just wanna focus on TV, you can just narrow. Okay, and you can do that adjustment if you're using the TV connector as well. All right, so perfect. I will cancel that and I'm gonna go back here. What else we have on the sessions here for this app? We have the health session. So this is a really cool device, really cool feature, because if you have a Marvel hearing aids, Paradise hearing aids, or the Lumity, that is the brand new one that was launched last week in Canada, you were how long have you been wearing? You were able to check your steps. Okay, so basically you can create goals as well. So this is my dad's hearing aid, and I created how many steps he would have to walk per day. So I put it like 4,000 steps. Or remember wearing time. We want to wear at least for 8 hours a day, right? So that really helps you to track how many hours you have been wearing it. It's something that we had before only in our software, but now you were able to do that as well. Okay, so there is one specific model that calls Paradise Audio Fit. This type of hearing aid, this model of hearing aid, you have also an option here to check your heart rate. Okay, so super advanced now, the technology here. What else we can see here on devices? So on this session here for devices, it will show the hearing aid you have, what is the battery level you have, which kind of program you're at right now, and it shows you the information of your hearing aid. And as you can see here, there is forget my device. That's something important for you to know for troubleshooting, but I'll show you in a moment. Let's see what else. Okay, then we have some Bluetooth troubleshootings that I will add that in a moment. Let's go to support. This is how you do a remote support. So it's a great feature as we can adjust your hearing aid from your house. Okay, it's a real-time adjustment. So basically your audiologist book a time with you and you're in your house, you just go on support, start a remote support, and then let's say your appointment was at 11 a.m., you're ready, you just click on start remote support, and let's say I'm your audiologist, I'm going to be ready and I'm just going to start the remote support. So I will be able to adjust your hearing aids in real time. Okay, really nice. And then you have your profile. Okay, so here is where you have all the features, and I would like now to talk a little bit about some of the troubleshootings that let me just go back here so you can see me. Camera. Okay. I think Lindsay said my camera was a little too close, so we'll see. When I turn around, I will move backwards a little bit. So let's talk a little bit about Bluetooth connectivity and some troubleshootings that you can do. One thing I didn't mention in the very beginning of the video was for you to be able to use the app, you need to make sure you have the latest version of the software in your phone. So if you have a Phonak phone, you want to make sure you have the iOS version 14.0 or higher. And the current one is 15 point something, I think 15.6.1. And then if you have the Android phone, you want to make sure your software is 7.0 or higher. And they are right now at the 10.0. So this is the first troubleshooting. And the first thing you need actually to check before you're able to pair this app to your phone, okay? After doing that, we want to make sure the hearing is into pair mode, and then we check that Bluetooth that I mentioned in the beginning, how to pair it, and then you pair to your app. The reason I showed you all the pairing steps is, first of all, this video is going to be recorded, so you can always go back to it, but also because sometimes if there is an update on the phone, or even maybe Phonak comes with a new update for the app, you might need to do the pairing again, okay? So it's very important to know those steps, because you might need to do this again. And of course, you can come to the clinic, we can help you out, but if you are not able to and you want to do yourself, you can do that and repair the device. So repairing can fix sometimes some problems. It can fix the problem of not finding the hearing aid, or sometimes can fix the problem of when you're on the call and the call is just dropping. So this is one of the basic, let's say, troubleshooting when you're using phones, okay? Going back to the app, I will show you a few other Bluetooth, and I just want to make sure if we have any on how the app works with the Roger Select. Oh, that's a good question, Anne-Marie. Okay, so I'll go over all the questions after. Let me show you a few troubleshooting, because I might be answering all the questions you might be adding there. And Janet, there's no dumb question here, okay? Please, as I mentioned, there is like 20 troubleshooting for Bluetooth, so there's no dumb question, okay? So, okay, one troubleshooting we learned, that is repairing the device, okay? Let me show you a few things now for troubleshooting, and I will switch my camera again and show you a few things I want you to check on your phone. So let's switch, and I'll try to keep the camera maybe a little further, I guess, like that. Okay, so a couple of troubleshooting on the app. Let's keep it on the app for a moment. Here on devices, we have, as you can see, Bluetooth phone calls, select connection. And we have two types of Bluetooths that they call as a fixed bandwidth and adaptive bandwidth, okay? So some type of phones, or sometimes if you want to pair your hearing aids to laptops or tablets, one or the other might work better. And I would only switch those. The main thing that happens is dropping the call. So if that's happening too often, you just switch. I believe it comes always as a default, the adaptive, and then you can change to bandwidth if you need to. Okay, so this is one troubleshooting that you can change. And you can see here, the bandwidth adaptive enhanced sound quality, but if the call keeps dropping, then we better go to fixed bandwidth. Okay, so this is one of them for troubleshooting. Another thing that you might encounter issues is with the tap control. Okay, I don't know if you have that feature. It doesn't work with all the hearing aids. It must be the rechargeable feature, but you can answer phone calls in two different ways when you have the rechargeables. We have a button on the hearing aid, so you can click the button to answer a phone call, or you can tap, that I will show you in a moment when I will flip the camera again, okay? So tapping, so kind of you tap on your ear, okay, right on the hearing aid, and that activates Bluetooth. It's a great feature if, first of all, you know how to use it, and second, you have a good dexterity, okay? And also, it depends what you want to access with the tap control, because it can be a very sensitive feature, okay? So basically right now, what I did on mine, you see on the right hearing aid, it can have the voice assistant on the tap control. So the problem with that is if you just touch your hair, or you might just, by mistake, you're just adjusting your hearing aid, you might tap the hearing aid and then automatically will see Siri is coming in, or Google Assistant is coming on, and it's always talk to you, okay? So you might don't want to do that. Or you might pause the streaming when you don't want to do that because the tap control was on, okay? So you can turn it off, tap control, or turn it on, tap control, anytime you want. And then here, you can change how sensitive you want the tap control to work. So if you select as firm, you gotta tap on the hearing aid quite firm, okay? But if you keep it on gentle, then it's a very gentle tap. Let me show you. It might be easier if I keep, just to show you right away what I'm talking about. So basically, if my hearing aid, I dropped one of the hearing aids. If my hearing aid is my ear here, I'm not gonna be able to put it on, but basically the tap control, you just wanna tap here, okay? And it's like 2 taps, and you really wanna touch the ear, okay? If you just do like this, you're not gonna be able to change it. It has like a rhythm, so you wanna do doop, doop, okay? And that's what I was mentioning to you. If you keep it on firm, you need to really tap on it. If you keep it on gentle, just a very gentle tap is going to switch the settings or answer a call or stop the streaming, for example. So you just want to be careful with the settings you have it on there, okay? Let me flip back on. Okay, so this is the tap control, all right? And if you don't want the tap control at all, you just turn it off here, okay? So if my tap control is off, how do we answer the phone? We are gonna answer the phone clicking, oops, let me keep the phone maybe a little further. We wanna, the button on the hearing aid, we're just gonna click the button in a very, like a quick click. So you click to answer, and you hold for 2 seconds to hang up, okay? So those are the 2 ways you have to answer a phone call. And of course, the hearing aid is going to be on your ears, okay? You're not gonna need to remove it. You just need to practice how to touch the button when they're on your ears, okay? All right, So I told you I have a lot of fine tunings here, a lot of troubleshooting. So what else can I show you here? This is too much. I think we don't need that. And then we have a click. Oh, we have a cleaning reminder as well. That might be great for some of you. It's going to come up to remind you to clean the hearing aids, okay? So let's just talk a little bit about the tap control. And let's say that your hearing aid, when you hear a phone call, I'm going to switch again. Let's say when you're hearing a phone call, as soon as you hear the ringing, you want to wait to hear the ringing in your hearing aid before you click the hearing aid, okay? Because remember, the hearing aid's right here. I'm just going to click on it, right on the button, right there, okay? This long button. And to answer, you just click once. If the ringing didn't go through the hearing aid, when you click, you're not going to be able to answer the phone through your hearing aids, okay? So you've got to make sure the phone rings in your ears. So maybe the best way to do is, as soon as you hear the phone ringing, you just wait maybe 2 or 3 rings, because then you make sure the phone call is going through your hearing aids. One troubleshooting for that, if that's not happening, so let's say phone rings and you try to click, you're hearing the ring, but it's not going through your hearing aids, you might need to change the audio routing on your phone, okay? So let me flip the camera one more time here. Right on settings, there is a accessibility here. And we have hearing devices. And these terms are very similar for the Android phone as well, okay? So when you are there, you have the audio routing. So when I click on audio routing, usually will show automatically. It means that we'll switch from hearing device or the phone automatically. If you are having trouble answering the phone through your hearing aid, we are going to go and change to always hearing devices, okay? So when you do that, always when there is a phone call, it's going to go through your hearing aids, if that's what you want. You still need to answer, clicking the button, or you can tap, 2 taps on it, and then the phone call is going to go through both hearing aids, okay? Your voice is picked up by the microphone of the hearing aid, okay? And that brings me to another troubleshooting, okay? Super important, if you have a hearing aid that is over the ears, that the wire is not too long, because we don't want the hearing aid to sit too low. It will not pick up your voice properly. So you want to always keep the hearing aid on the top in a good position here, because then people can hear you through your own voice, through the microphone. Because your voice is picked up by the microphone, your hearing aid is also picking up other surrounding sounds, right? And this can be a bit of a problem if you are in a very noisy place, because then your voice is competing with the background noise around you, okay? And there's not much a fix for that. It's like any other, even if we're talking on the phone and not using our hearing aids, if it's too noisy, sometimes we need to step out and go to a place that is not too noisy. So then we can hear people better and they can hear us. Usually with the phone, with the connection through your hearing aid, even if you're in a noise place, you hear them quite nicely. The problem is they don't hear you well, because the microphone is picking up too much of the noise around. So in that situation, you got to step out and go to a place that's not very noisy, okay? Yeah, another thing that we got to remember as well, the microphone, the hearing aid has to connect to your phone. So if your phone is inside your pocket, maybe in your purse, Bluetooth connection can be affected if we have obstacles, right? So if that can cause problems as well. So if you really want to make sure you're hearing people well, maybe you walk on the street or whatever situation you are, try not to keep your phone in your pocket or in your purse, because you might hear the phone ringing. You might hear them if you answer, but they're not going to hear you, perhaps. Okay, so don't keep any obstacles around, and you don't want to keep the phone too far away. Okay, so the normally 5 to 10 meters, so 15 to 30 feet away is max for connection from your phone to your hearing aids. Okay, and that can be even shorter distance if you have walls or if you have other obstacles around. Okay. Another thing that people, are we good? I see some questions there. I'll go through those questions in a moment. Oh yes, comment on the equalizer. I will add. So another thing we want to make sure that might bother some people, and you might have trouble when pairing as well, is related to notifications on your phone. Okay, so it's great to have the phone connected to your hearing aids so you can answer, you can use the app, but sometimes if you have the notifications on, so maybe notifications on the Facebook or messages, you are going to be receiving that clicking and the notifications constantly. So that can become quite annoying. Okay, so you might want to turn it off completely, your notifications, so then you don't need it to be constantly hearing that clicking in your hearing aids. Okay, or maybe just leaving the notification that you find that's very important. Maybe it's for your email, or maybe it's for I don't know. So let me show you where the notifications are, and that can help you not to be hearing this annoying sound. Okay, so let me switch again my camera. Back camera. All right, so here we are going to go into sounds, and you see that there is keyboard clicks. That is something that can annoy a lot people. You can turn that off. Okay, and as I understand, for Android you might need to do that before you even pair the devices. Okay, and yeah, so that's where you would go. Just turn it off, that, and you might want to go on notifications as well and completely turn it off. So let's say I don't want to keep getting notifications every time I hear a message on my Instagram, so I can just turn it off. Okay, so same idea, the messages, or as you can see, I have a lot of them off here because I don't like to be receiving notifications all the time. Okay, so this is one thing you can change. And then this one here, I want to actually mention again, this keyboard clicks can affect phone calls as well. You might get the phone call cutting in the middle, like just a click, and that could be related to this feature on. So you want to maybe turn that off. Okay. I think Anne asked me to just chat about the equalizer. So I'm just gonna go back here for a second. Let's see if my hearing is will connect again. I dropped one off the floor, but it is. Okay, so equalizer, going back to the app. Okay, when I am adjusting the programs, there is something called equalizer presets. What that means, we can change the bass of the sound, the middle sounds, or the treble of sounds. So let's say you like to read your book while your partner maybe is doing the dishes and is normally very sharp and teeny. Okay, you could create a program with less high frequencies. Okay, I find it and very confusing if you keep adjusting up and down, because you need to understand very well which kind of sounds, which kind of frequency that you want to adjust. A good way here, if you go on the information button, it talks a little bit about the equalizer, and it gives you a good idea what you should adjust. For example, if we want to adjust, for example, adjusting the bass changes low-pitched sounds, such as a bass drum, thunder, a larger bell, or a person's deep voice. Okay, so on this here, so I'm going to show you, you are here, you go information, and here explains exactly what you are doing on the fine tunings of programs. Okay, and you can adjust whatever you want there. But I personally find that, oops, I'm gonna go back here. I personally find that if you are adjusting too much the equalizer, creating too many programs, there's something wrong on the automatic setting of your hearing aid, okay? So think about that the hearing aids are technology is so good right now that you shouldn't need to create a lot of programs or change the equalizer all the time. The idea is to have a hearing aid that is simple and easy to use, okay? So this is always my first message. If you are having to create a lot of programs and you're adjusting the equalizer all the time, there is something wrong on your default settings. And I would go back to your hearing care professional and mention that to them, that they needed to fine-tune better hearing aid, okay? Because I'm not a big fan of patients to adjust the hearing aids all the time. Basically, you're probably won't be successful. That's what I can say. But of course, in some specific situations, yes, you might have just that specific environment. You work in an environment where there's a lot of people talking all the time, and you want to have a program specifically just for that environment. Great. I think the app is wonderful for that. But if you want to have a program for this, for that, for all the other environments, that tells me that the automatic setting is not doing the job. And usually that's happening because the hearing aid was not set up properly for you. Okay, so I love showing the MyPhonak app. It's a great feature, has wonderful, things for you to do on them. But I want you to keep that in mind. The simpler, the better. Okay, that's usually how you're going to be happier with your hearing aid. Let's see if I have, first let me check here if I forgot any of the fine tunings that I had of my 20, of the list of 20 troubleshootings. Let's see if I forgot anything. No, so in calls, very noisy environment. I think I did go through the most troubleshooting that I had here. Yes. Okay, I will check some of the questions here that I have. So, Anne, please comment on how the app works with Roger. So it's the same idea and with the other programs. So basically, once you have a Roger system set up to your hearing aid, it will show on the top of all the programs options you have, your Roger program. And then when you click on it, you can do some fine tunings on it as well. Okay, so same idea. It's just going to create a special program there. Janet asked me, I have new self-charging hearing aids. All right. How long do the batteries last before you have to put in new batteries? So they last between 5 to 6 years, Janet. Okay. It's not a problem for you to keep it in the charger for many hours. They actually always recommend when you remove the hearing aid, you should always keep it in the charger at night. If you are during the day and you don't have your charger, that's okay. But usually we want to keep it in the charger and it does not overcharge. And they last for quite a few years. I have my aids paired to my cell phone, but can you pair the aids to a TV? So to a TV, Janet, the recommendation is to use the TV connector. Okay, I don't have it here with me. Some TVs, yes, you are able to pair it, but the problem of that is you are going to be using Bluetooth connection, and that will probably use much more battery life than if you use through a TV connector. Okay, so I would go back to your hearing care professional and I would request a TV connector. That's a much better option for TV because you're going to have a really nice sound quality without using too much of your batteries. Okay. And I don't have the app. I don't know for sure, but have an appointment with my hearing. Okay, that's good. Yeah, so the app, you might not have the app because sometimes, as you can see, there's so much for us to show you when you get your new hearing aids that we might don't download the app right away for you. So this video can help you to download, but of course, we can always help you in the clinic as well, okay, to download the app and go through all these features that I showed you today. So Wendy asked me, people are complaining that there is an echo when I use my phone. So it depends, again, the environment you are at, Wendy, because remember, your voice is picked up by the microphone of the hearing aid. And then if they are not hearing you properly, so things we're going to check again is the location of the hearing aid. It may be the environment you are, right? Because if it is an echoey place, they might notice that. But there's some little fine tunings we can do as well in the office for that. Okay, so there's some things we can change in our software to improve your voice quality on the phone. So if you try this pictures, this troubleshootings, let's say, that I mentioned, and it did not work, go back to the clinic and we can try it out some different things. Okay, so I already talked about that. So that's, let's say, Angela, I have the same problem as Wendy. Some people cannot hear me. Yeah, so this is the main thing. This is the main issue. There's something we can change the feature on the hearing aid in the clinic. So you might need to go back and then make sure the hearing is placed properly. What else? And then if it's a very noisy place, it's going to be challenging for them to hear you. And maybe the phone, make sure the phone is not in your purse or in your pocket. Okay. I have a question from Paul. My right hearing aid squeals when I get close to objects, but the left one does not. So Paul, the main reason a hearing aid squeals, one of the first thing we need to check is earwax in your ears. Okay, so if you have a lot of earwax, that can cause that issue. If that's not the problem, sometimes you might need a bigger tip in your ears, because you might have a little more hearing loss in that side, and then you need to have the ears occluded a little bit more. And then there's something else we can do in the office that calls feedback management that can help you with the ringing. So there is no reason for anybody nowadays to suffer from noise and squeals. Go back to the clinic. There is always a solution for it. Okay. Oh, hi, John from Fort Coquitlam. We're really close. Karen asked me about the app works with the crossover. No, Karen, no updates on the app for the crossover. John, my hearing aids whistle at times, even after changing the protector. Yeah, John, that's the same answer I gave to, I can't remember his name, to Paul. Might be wax, might be that's not inserted properly. And there's a couple of things we can do in the office. So don't suffer from whistling, okay? Go back to the clinic. There's things to do about that. Diane, if you still hold the phone to your face when using the hearing aid, it might pick up the phone as well as the hearing aid microphone. That might give you the echo. That's true, Diane. That's right. It might pick up the phone. It depends. I don't know if that happens actually, because it should route to the hearing aid. So I don't know if that would be a reason, but you can try. Okay. Oh, I have a lot of questions here that my colleague is sending me. Let's see. I got a few of them. Oh, Colin have asked me a question. Can I set the hearing aids so I can listen to loud live music? Yes, Colin. So the music setting already changed a few things on the setting of your hearing aid. But if you are noticing that the music is being reduced when it goes too loud, when it turns it up, there's something we can change in the office. Okay, so that means probably the maximum output of the hearing aid needs to be changed in the clinic, and then we can create maybe a special music program for it, just for those environments, or even add that to your automatic setting as well. Okay. All right, I think we got lots of questions. I'm happy to see a lot of people from BC and close to me here today. Thank you so much for being here with me. Oh, there's another question. Oh no, that's not for this live. I'm trying to multitask today. I have like 3 devices in front of me, so hopefully it worked well. So thank you so much for being here with me. Really appreciate your comments and being, I hear people talking. Oh, one more question here. Let me just ask one more from Dan. I hear people talking to me, but I cannot understand the actual words. Yeah, so that might be something we need to adjust on the settings of your hearing aid, Don. Oh, Roy, so nice seeing you. Long time. Thank you for tuning in. So thank you so much, everyone. Have a wonderful end of your summer. I'm going to my home country in 2 weeks, so I'm like extremely excited. Actually, in 1 week, next week, I'm going to Brazil next week. So I'll have probably some stories to tell you next time I'm here. So thank you so much for being here. Stay safe, stay connected. That big virtual hug to everyone. And yeah, stay safe. Bye. Take care.